What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Josh, and welcome back to the Big Blue Nation podcast here. I apologize for there not being a podcast last week, as a combination of three exams last week, and Monday and Tuesday, and or was it? No, it was just Monday and then Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, the internet went out, so I was physically unable to do anything there, and upload it on Monday. And I just said scrap it until next week, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth and have maybe a little bit of a longer one here. As you guys can see, I'm not doing the um, thing where it has me talking and it has me the do thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But in previous podcasts that I've had, I have done it where it'll go up and down with how I'm talking and do an audio wave thing. I don't know, but it was really complicated, really kind of stressed out my computer, and I decided not to do it and kind of keep it a little bit more simple this time around. So, where we left off last time, we were talking about South Carolina and Florida, I believe. No, that was this past week. We were talking about Vanderbilt and Alabama. So the last one we did, we talked about our win over Kansas, and that was the last time that you guys heard from me regarding UK sports. So a lot has happened since then. We have had 4 games since my last podcast, and we have won all 4 of those games. We played Vanderbilt at home. I was there. We played at Alabama. We won that. We were at South Carolina. We won that. And we played Florida a couple days ago and won, and I was there for that. Uh, all of those games we won pretty handedly. Vanderbilt was the toughest one for some reason, but we did win both. We won all of them. If we look at the box scores here of all of them here, going all the way back to Vanderbilt back a few weeks ago. Sheboy had only 11 points, but had 17 rebounds. Keon Brooks 20 points. Kellen Grady had 12. Ty had 7. Jacob Toppin had 2 points. And Davion Mintz absolutely popped off with 21 points. Shot 4 for 7 from 3. The team as a whole shot 44% from 3, 38% from the field. So we kind of struggled in that second half. We were up by 10 going into halftime, and they outscored us in the second half, but we ended up winning regardless, but by only 7 points. The next game here that we played was at Alabama. This was the hardest game of these past 4 for sure. If we take a look, Sheboy had 10 points and 15 rebounds, and another double-double for him. Didn't play very well as their bigs did a really, really good job. Bediako had 12 points, 8 rebounds, had a pretty solid game. Shackelford and Quinterly combined for only 13 points in that game, which we were really worried about them popping off, and thankfully they did not. But yeah, they kind of spread their points around. The only one with double digits was Bediako with 12. We had 4 in double digits. Damian Collins came in hot with 10 points. Grady had 10. Brooks had 10. Sheboy also then had 10. Ty had double digits as well at 15. Severe had 0 points. However, he did have 7 assists. The team as a whole shot 40% from the field and 36% from 3. Alabama shot 10% from 3 and 28% from the field. And you're going to win that game every time. So not the prettiest of wins, but it will count in the win column. The next game after that was at South Carolina. Started off pretty slow, but it actually started off hot, ended hot. Was in the middle. We were pretty slow. 18 points and 14 rebounds for Sheboy. 15 points for Brooks. 9 rebounds, almost a double-double for him. Ty had 14. Severe had 4 points. However, he had 11 assists and a steal. Sheboy also had 2 steals and 3 blocks and 2 assists on the game, so he's filling up the categories, man. Sorry about that. Kellen Grady had 12. Damian Collins only played 4 minutes that game. Toppin ended up getting hurt that game, actually. Had only 6 minutes, however, had 10 points in those 6 minutes. Lance Ware came in 3 points for him, 8 minutes for him. Mintz had 10 points. So we scored 86 points on them, so that was pretty good. Our starters really carried a lot more of that game, which they do usually, however, a little bit more of this game than usual. And then if we take a look at the most recent game against Florida, we blew them out by by 21 points. We had a huge run at the beginning of the game, extending it to 20-6, and then they caught all the way back up to 20-16. So we really kind of struggled at some points. However, we went on some big runs, and we went on a run in the second half, extending it to 56-42. That was kind of the end of that. They actually got it back down within 1 point, 22-21, but then we just kind of took over after that, and it ended up being 78-57, your final score. 99% capacity in Rupp, which I believe this is actually the most packed game it's been all year. 20,383 people out of 20,500 capacity. The only one that would have rivaled it would have been Tennessee. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tennessee here and see what they have. 20,278. So it was about 50 people more for this Florida game than it was for Tennessee. I expect one more game to be around that amount of numbers here, and that's next week, and we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so if we take a look at the box score here from this past weekend's game, Castleton had 18 points, which was a lot. He was their leading scorer by a long shot. McKissick, who everyone hates now, I'll explain why, had 9. Sheboy had 27 points and 19 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. Have a day, Oscar Sheboy, huh? Holy. Only 2 points for Brooks. Sheboy picked him up there. Ty had 10, and it was absolutely just flawless. I mean, he crossed up Castleton, hit a step back 3 in the corner. Place went nuts. Castleton got pretty much put on his behind, and it was, oh my god, it was amazing. But he ended up getting hurt later in the second half after McKissick lost the ball after Sylvia Wheeler stole it from behind. The ball rolled over towards Ty. McKissick dives on Ty's leg. Looks like it could have been really, really bad. However, x-rays were negative, and people were thinking he realistically could play against Tennessee. We'll get into that in a minute as well. But Calipari, who never comments on injuries, said he went to go see Ty and he was in good spirits, and I think he just got scared. Is kind of the vibe that we're getting. It looked really bad. I thought he might have tore something right when it happened. It's the type of thing where his knee bent in a way that is not great. But it looks like he's okay. Might have just scared himself. He might not play against Tennessee because they're going to want to win that game, and they're going to be really physical, but I expect him to fully be back next weekend against Alabama. So it is what it is, man. I'm really hoping that he's okay and that he will play for us soon enough. Hopefully this Tuesday, which is tomorrow, against Tennessee. But we'll get into those games in a second. But if he doesn't play against Tennessee, it's going to be a hard one. But anyways, he had 10 points up to that point, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal. Sevier only had 6 assists, 9 points. Kellen Grady, 15 points, 4 for 11 from 3. We shot the ball pretty well, just below 50%, and 37% from 3. So pretty solid overall. Lance Ware had a heck of a game as well. The refs, I don't even want to get into the refs. Again, I don't blame the refs for anything in terms of winning, losing, anything like that. However, they did poorly ref that game, not calling calls. Lance Ware gets shoved after a play, no technical, things like that. Just not the greatest calls, man. But they kind of let that game get a little more chippy than I think it should have been. But it is what it is. However, we do end up getting the W, outscoring them in the second half, 45-29. So I'll take a W all day long. So that extends us to 21-4 on the year. 21-4 on the year, and that is a 6 game win streak, and we have that's a 6 game win streak, and we have won 9 of our last 10, only losing to number 2 Auburn Tigers. Auburn lost to Arkansas this week on the road. A lot of people were debating whether or not how far they should fall, and I personally think that they should have fallen outside of the top four. Because I mean, a loss is a loss. I mean, I guarantee you, if we go into the house of Tennessee today, where they're undefeated, a lot harder game than Arkansas, and we lose by 2-3 points, I think we drop to number 8. I mean, that's just how it is. I don't think Auburn. I mean, we have the best win in college basketball, so it's not like Auburn can argue that we're higher, that they're, they beat us, blah blah blah, right? But they beat us without Ty Ty. I'm pretty sure everybody in the college basketball world knows if Ty Ty stayed in that game, we were winning that game. We were up by 10 plus points the whole half up until Ty Ty went down. Then it flipped the script immediately. Ty Ty makes a difference, and you guys are going to see that again this week if he's not playing. So we have 2 ranked opponents this week, Tennessee and Alabama. Tennessee is at Tuesday at 9 p.m. on ESPN, and we play Alabama at Rupp the day after my birthday on Saturday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Super excited for both those games. Obviously, more the Alabama one. I'm more stressed for the Tennessee game because, again, Tennessee's undefeated at home. Last time I checked, they're number 16 in the nation, and they're our hardest opponent left. Not to mention, we also have to go on the road to Arkansas, who Auburn just lost to, and play them on the road as well next week. But other than that, this schedule shouldn't be too difficult. So it is what it is, though, man. I'm not going to be too pissed off about it. If we go ahead and take a look at the AP poll, we jumped up to number 4, Arizona number 3, Auburn 2, and Gonzaga jumped up to that 1 spot. Still super mad. Still super mad that Auburn didn't drop more than 1 spot after losing to an unranked team on the road. I don't care if they're right outside the top 25, if they're unranked at all. If they're still unranked, they're still an unranked team, and you lost to them, and they almost lost to Georgia as well. So I simply think they should have dropped to at least 3. I'm not going to say they should have dropped below us and be at 4. But a lot of people thought it should have been Gonzaga 1, Arizona 2, us 3, and them 4. Purdue also lost. They got absolutely mollywopped by Michigan this week, so they dropped from that number 4 spot. So that's why they dropped from that number 3 spot pretty far. That's why us and Auburn moved, or us and Arizona moved up. So I'm not going to get too deep into the AP poll, as there's nothing other than that. As again, this is a Big Blue Nation podcast following Kentucky. All you guys need to know, we moved up from number 5 to 4 because of Purdue losing to Michigan by almost 20 points. However, a lot of people think we should have moved up to number 3 because of the Auburn loss. But Auburn gets penalized 1 spot, and I guarantee you if we lose to Tennessee, which is a much harder team in a much harder environment, in a rivalry game, if we lose by as much as Auburn did against Arkansas, we'd probably drop 5 spots. But who cares? Auburn is going to be Auburn, right? I don't like Auburn. I don't like their fans. They're very stuck up. They're very arrogant. So that's why it irritates me that they only dropped 1 spot. I think they shouldn't have dropped more than 2 spots. I don't think they should have dropped more than 3 spots to number 4. But a loss is a loss. I mean, you have that many good teams at that high in the country. I think that a loss is a loss, and you should take it on the chin. So, I mean, when we lost to Notre Dame on the road in a hard environment, right? We dropped all the way from 9 to 22. So I know Arkansas is a much better program, is a much better team this year than Notre Dame is. However, it's the same type of things, right? And this isn't November, December. This is February. We're approaching March. A team should be at its best, and Auburn just doesn't look to be at its best except when it's at home. So that's my take on Auburn. Again, I'm not going to get into Auburn anymore. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tennessee versus us this week. This is the only game in the rest of the season that we are not projected to win. We're projected to lose this one. ESPN gives us a 44 out of 100% chance to win the game, meaning they give Tennessee a 56% chance to win this game. But again, don't take that too much into account. The teams were averaging 81.3 points a game. Tennessee's averaging 74.4 points against, averaging right around the same at about 64, 63 points a game for both teams. We're shooting almost 7% higher than them from the field, out-rebounding them by about 4.5 points. Assists, about 0.3 assists more per game. Blocks, both teams with 4.4, and they actually average almost 2 more steals per game against us. They're on a 4-game win streak. We're on a 6-game win streak. And yeah, they have yet to lose. They always lose to good teams, though. However, they have not lost to a good team at home, as again, they are undefeated at home, I believe. So let's go ahead and check that real quick. Um, let's see here. Let me think here. I'm trying to see here. Um, was the Villanova game? Where was it at? No. Madison Square Garden. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to look here. But yes, they have not lost at home this season. They've had some bad losses. They lost to Texas Tech. They lost to, or not bad losses, but like they lost to Villanova. They lost to Texas Tech. They lost to Bama. They lost to LSU. They lost to us. They got mollywopped by us. And they just recently lost to Texas. All those games were either on the road or in neutral settings. So it's going to be an interesting game for sure. It's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be very, very close. They have a good chance of winning that game. But I'm really hoping that we can pull that thing out because it's not going to be easy for us. Because again, big time rivalry, big time rivalry. So we will see how that goes. Go back to the game here. So Shibwe is averaging 16 points a game, 15 points, 15 boards a game. This is where I think that they're going to struggle. Their leading rebounder is 5.8 rebounds a game, and their leading scorer is 13.6 rebounds a game. We lead them in every category, points, rebounds, and assists for our players by a long shot. Like, it ain't even close. Severe's averaging about almost 3 points more than Kennedy Chandler is assists. Almost 10 more rebounds per game for Shibwe than James. And Vescovi is averaging about 4 points per game less than Shibwe is, and shooting almost 20% less. So, hey man, it is what it is. I think we can win this game. It's just going to be a tough environment. They're a tough place to play, and it's going to be packed. Obviously, we're the number 4 team in the nation. We got a target on our back. Definitely the game of the week in college basketball for sure. So yeah. The next game that we have after that is home against Alabama. Same thing. We have an 88% chance to win. I'm not too worried about it. It's going to be a fun one, though. It's at home. Alabama's a ranked team heading into the game at number 25. Again, we've talked about our games against Alabama, right? They give up a lot more points than we do, and they score almost as much as we do. But they don't shoot as consistently as we do. They don't assist as good. They don't rebound as well. So I think it's a very, very fair. I think it's a very fair thing that we win this game. I see us coming out of this week 2-0, but I could easily see us being 1-1 and losing against Tennessee. I don't see us losing both. That is very, very unlikely. I'd rather lose to Tennessee out of either of them because, again, Tennessee on the road, when they're the number 16 team in the nation, we won't drop out of the top 5. At least we shouldn't. If we drop more than one spot, I'm going to call BS because that's just absolutely just biased towards Auburn that they are allowed to do that. So other than that, that kind of wraps up college basketball. Obviously, we had the Super Bowl. The Bengals ended up losing 23-20 to the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles in Super Bowl 56, maybe? I can't remember the number, but again, this isn't a pro sports thing or even anything other than Kentucky, but I just wanted to pinpoint that because that's obviously a big thing in the sports world. So that's that. Also, James Harden got traded to this Philadelphia 76ers. Ben Simmons was also involved in that trade, and he's on his way to Brooklyn. Those are the two big people in that trade. If you guys want to look up the actual trade, you can go to ESPN. I'm sure it's everywhere. But that was another big thing that we missed while I was away. So, next thing, Kentucky football. If we take a look here, Kentucky football, Vince Moreau got engaged. Pretty cool thing there for him. Happy for him. go coach. And he also said that we're projected to add 2 high-profile players from the transfer portal in the next few weeks. A lot of people were speculating. There's a couple of different people that we could get. However, I'm not going to speculate because you don't know who it's going to be. However, he did say one of them is in the SEC. So other than that, no big news in terms of recruiting or the transfer portal. Also, Liam Cohen, our offensive coordinator, has only been with us for a season. Projected to potentially go back to the Rams to be their offensive coordinator. Very unfortunate, but again, the Rams offensive coordinator is taking the head coaching position in Minnesota, so that is going to be an offensive coordinating job that everyone's going to want. That's why I also think that he might not get it because, again, he's a college offensive coordinator. Are they going to want a college offensive coordinator going and coaching their Super Bowl caliber team next season? Could. He's a great coach. I really just want to keep him. That's why I'm making excuses, but there is a very real chance that we lose Liam Cohen, which would really hurt. He did a phenomenal job with Will Levis and Wan'Dale Robinson last year, and I wanted to see what he could do with Levis, Robinson, Rodriguez, not Robinson, Javon Baker, Barry Brown, Dane Key, all these incredible assets that we have on the offensive side of the ball this season. I was really hoping to see what he could do, but if he doesn't stay, he doesn't stay. I'm sure Stoops is a top 15 coach in college football, so I'm sure he'll be able to find somebody to come coach his team on the offensive side of the ball. But other than that, not a whole lot to talk about, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Big Blue Nation podcast, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.